Hello and welcome to a special edition of the In the Money Players Podcast, In the Money Media YouTube channel. PTF back here with you. It's Manitoba Derby Night at Assiniboia Downs, track we've been covering all year long. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. Find somebody who looks at you like today's guest, Mikee P, looks at the ASD PPs. He loves the place. He does a great job covering. And I get to come on here a couple times a year and talk about these races too. And very happy to be here for the big night with the big mandatory payout. Mikee P, how are things?
Doing great, Pete. It's great that Manitoba Derby is here, but more the mandatory payout is really what I'm interested in. We have a huge pot here, over 400,000 Canadian dollars up for grabs, and it's a 20-cent minimum, so you can take plenty of swings. Paid very well last year on this night after the favorite got DQ'd in the big race.
Yes, that was controversial and interesting, and hopefully we'll have some of our viewers, some of our listeners take this thing down tonight. Feel free down in the comments on the In the Money Media YouTube channel to let us know your thoughts, especially on the big race, but really on any of the 5 races that we're going to be talking about on this show. We love to get the conversation going there. And while you're there, go ahead and subscribe to the In the Money Media YouTube channel or In the Money Players Podcast, wherever you get your pods. This mandatory payout, it kicks off in race number 3. We've got some bread and butter stuff here, Mikey. 3K claimers going a mile and a 16th. How are we going to light this candle?
Yeah, I mean, this is bottoms, Pete. And the tricky thing about this race is the mile and a 16th distance, because a lot of these horses haven't been racing at this distance. And some horses just do not want to go that far. So I would probably be ready to kick off the pick 5 here. I ultimately picked Beckett's Best, the 7 on top. Got a 5.5 line last time after, some nice races at Hastings last year. You see a couple of those 6.5 furlong wins. That's 2 turns at Hastings also. So, I mean, used to the 2 turns, used to the elongated sprints. This is a little bit further, but you get a fresh Jerry Gorno claim. And this is the one I think should be more forward here. If you look back in the prior lines, like to be up close. Well, coming out of that 5.5, I think that should be no issue. So I do like the 7 here, but I could see others. I could see the 5 Freemaker in here. I could see Gallon Oak. He's sort of been, a classy type that just hasn't been on track recently. I do think that Fresh Barn, we'll see, maybe could get a better trip. And then the 9 Nays, 8-5 morning line. I think a little low for the morning line here. This horse has been in several barns recently, but again, has the ability and has a win at the distance to go along with the speed from the outside post. So wide open early leg of this pick 5. Try to survive in advance if you can.
I get where you're coming from with trying to spread. I do think I like Nene, the 9, a little bit more than you. I agree. 8-5 isn't worth fighting for, as it were. But for one, if I was going to pick one horse to start this mandatory payout pick 5, I would pick Nene. You mentioned about the distance. She does have that back form going this far. I think she'll get a good trip. Also, a little bit of a flow move up, I thought, coming out of those fast fractions the last day. She can usually settle better than that. Maybe for the new barn she can. I think she's going to take a lot of beating. I'm going to try to get through here with the 9, but maybe I can play some tickets backing up with the other numbers you mentioned there in race number 3. Race number 4 at Assiniboia Downs on this Monday, Manitoba Derby Night, is a 6 furlong maiden special weight for 3 and up, $21,000 in the pot. I was going to try to lock it up with 2. The 4-runner, Judge Oliver, I thought looked like a good candidate to be the best speed. I thought that number 6, He's My Uncle, had solid finish for the level. My main numbers for the late picks going to be the 4 and the 6. But how do you see it, Mikey?
Yeah, I mean, I would use Judge Oliver. I thought he raced better. I know he got outfinished by He's My Uncle in that race there on July the 7th, but I thought Judge Oliver ran the better race. So I think he's the one that I want out of that spot. Ultimately, my top pick is the 10 Charlie's Prize. And this one, has 5 starts so far. And the last one was the best one. And Whitehall Sticks here, I thought raced very well versus Red Dirt Alley. Just got picked off late by that one. You get an outside post here now, I do think can kind of, get that Whitehall type trip where he sort of sits outside and stalks the speed. And if this horse reproduces that last line, I do think has a big shot. But there's others that can win in here. You mentioned the 4, I thought had possibilities. I think the 9 tacking up. Now, this one comes from Kentucky, racing the main special at Keeneland in April, but has been here a little while. Look, 4 workouts at this racetrack, shows up on a big night. So one I want to be able to use on tickets. So the 10, the 4, and the 9 for me here.
I think that's an interesting sign of intent, those 4 workouts. Good stuff from you there. let's move on to race number 5. The first of our 2 stakes races is the Harvey Warner Manitoba Mile, and there's $50,000 in the pot this time around. Mikey, we'll keep it with you.
I'd probably shrink down here, Pete. And Judo's back. He's third back. He's been very, very good at this racetrack the past couple years. He won this race last year on this night. He was 3-1. He's not going to be 3-1 in this race because I do think he will be favored. That last race, he galloped going 7.5, and the mile is totally fine for him. So the perfect post. He's going to take some beating. The other horse that I would maybe use is a 7 Go-Go Boss. If you look, has the Lone Star lines. It's Diodoro. Typically, he shows up with intent. And just a grinder. This horse grinded last time in the second. He got a couple fast figures, so he's one you probably have to have on tickets, but I'd be heavy Judo here.
I get Judo for sure, but I did go with number 7, Go-Go Boss. I just think it's going to be a perfect trip from attacking position and has that ability to grind, that blend of speed and stamina that I like around here. And you mentioned about Diodoro. He's had 2 other shippers at this meet. They both won in their first starts of the meet. Totally unbelievable. And don't give up the fight. Maybe Go-Go Boss can make it 3 on the bounce for Diodoro, and Go-Go Boss can get the win here in the mile. Next up, we have the race that gives the night its name. It is the listed Manitoba Derby, $125,000. We're going a mile and an eighth. Mikey P, who's your idea of the winner?
I like the horse in this race, and this one's 6-1 morning line. It's the 5 Direct Strike. Now look at the form lines. This one I know was still a maiden. I get that, but look who he faced on June the 27th. Sassmaster, Preside, both came back to win races at Saratoga this past week. So keeping very good company here. Ships up here now. The numbers, I do think in a very soft group, stack up extremely well. I think this one can be forward. I think it's going to play well in Maltese and is one that I definitely want to have on tickets and will lean on pretty confidently in this sequence. But if you're going to back up, the 2 Western Warrior, I think plays. Also another one shipping from the U.S. to this spot. Nice races at Oaklawn earlier in the year. Yeah, just facing better, honestly. I faced Crupper there at Oaklawn back in April. Well, that one raced in the Preakness. So, I mean, you can see what kind of lines this horse is keeping. Heavy 5, a little 2.
I'm very much with you on the 5 Direct Strike, but for the sake of putting another horse in there, I'll make Direct Strike my second pick, and I'll talk about one that I'm hoping is going to be a decent price in this spot. The 1 runner, Really Rallis. I thought ran an excellent race in the local prep, attacking a fast pace, putting that race to bed and going on with it. Timeform US gave that effort a 5-point upgrade given the sectionals in the middle part of that race. I think this one's dangerous right back 8-1 in the morning line, but also Direct Strike. As you say, this is a maiden trying stakes company. That ain't easy. This horse more than fits on figs, has those right company lines. And I'll also argue that the last day he ran at Churchill looked like a good inside day at Churchill. This horse was wide throughout. I like the spin around ASD the other day. I think this horse might just be really well spotted. 1 and 5 for me in exactas and such. I'll mess around with your number 2 as well. And that's our take on this year's Manitoba Derby. We've got one more race to talk about. It's our nightcap. We've got $10,000 claimers going 1 mile. Very important race because this is the final race of our mandatory pick 5, as well as all the other late picks on this Monday Assiniboia Downs card. Mikey, how are we going to get paid?
I would be a little spready to finish out. If you're alive here, you want to be alive to a couple, I think, because this is not an easy race. My top pick's the 1, Hey Big. On this one, I thought has been racing very well at similar levels. It was claimed for 7,500 2 back, and then ran in a similar spot last time. And I personally, didn't love the ride there. I just missed. Ended up beating less than a length. Now you get blinkers off. Should be, I think, a little bit from off the pace. This one is just one that kind of grinds up, and I do think can get the best of these here. But I would use others too. I think the 3 L's has possibilities. That line 2 back against Chief Brady is very solid. And, I know regressed last time, but now you get New Barn. I do think it could be a little bit better here versus these types. And, I can see the 9 Jack Spring Break. That one is 5-2 morning line. Just such a bad race last time. Maybe something happened. We're not really sure. The prior lives, 2 straight wins and, beat, a condition allowance race on July the 1st. So this horse fits if he shows up. The question is will he show up? So 139. If I was going to back up, maybe a little 5, also Cajun Eddie, just a classy type horse, has some speed. could maybe had 4 wins last year, could find the trip in this race. So just a few I'd like to be alive to finish.
To show you how hard this race is, and I did write down trickiest race of the night. You mentioned 4. I wrote down 2. They're not even in your 4, but it's not like I think anything you said was wrong. I basically agree with everything. It's just that it's just a tricky affair. I'll tell you about the ones that I had notes on. Number 4, the Ronald. I thought ran a representative race last time despite a poor start. Now, granted, this is not a good gate horse, but fits at the level. And I was just trying to envision a scenario where finally, with a clean getaway, this horse could be heard from late, 10-1 in the morning line, one I wanted to use. And then another one, as I ran the race in my head, I was seeing maybe having the opportunity to trip out despite the wide draw, just because there's a little bit of tactical speed. Number 10, Valley Victory. I thought has to obviously reverse form with a couple of these, but I did think there were reasons to maybe look at some of the horses who've beaten Valley Victory in the past, like Jack Spring Break and like Hey Biggin, who might not be as good as they were when those results happened. Just another one I wouldn't mind having on side. We agree about one thing for sure. You want to be alive to as many as you can here in this nightcap on Manitoba Derby night. And hopefully some of us can get a piece of this giant carryover pot that's being forced out tonight. Any closing thoughts from you, Mikey, on this race, on this card, on anything that's on your mind?
No, this is a fun night, and we're going to have huge handles tonight. I mean, with that big carryover, there's going to be a couple million in that pick 5 pool. So definitely jump in on that. But don't forget the late pick 4 for $1 that has a 50,000 guarantee. Should fly over that tonight. Yeah, $3 rolling pick. 3s of the Assiniboia. So handle's going to be huge. I do think that the racing is going to be fantastic. So 8:30 Eastern time. Get in on the pick 5 at 9:25. I imagine they'll drag a little bit. So by 9:30, they should be running the first race there in that late pick 5. Get alive and get some of that carryover money, and have a great night at Assiniboia.
Stay up late with us. Bet Assiniboia Downs. Great partners all season long. Let's support their big night with some big handle. Mikey, great getting a chance to chat with you. We'll thank you one more time. We'll thank our friends at Assiniboia Downs. We'll thank everybody out there for watching. This show's been a production of In the Money Media. I'm Peter Thomas Fornatale. May you win all your photos.